Hi, coaches. Randy Brown, Coach RB with Simple Hoops. Simple Hoops. Our goal is to help you see the game in a much less confused fashion and a more clear and concise and productive and efficient fashion. That is my goal, and that's why we started Simple Hoops. As a reminder, if you're not yet a subscriber, go ahead and please subscribe to this channel and also like this video. We really appreciate it. We love bringing this content to you and love when coaches turn around and do those things for us. Okay, we are on number 9 in our foundational anchors. Got one left after today. Today's number 9 anchor is the rule of sticky. The rule of sticky. All right, so I'm going to give you an example here. If you are on the floor and there's something you see and you're going to make a comment about it, and your coaches are making comments about it, it could be like block out. Tell them, well, we're not blocking out. You got to block out. And you get through the practice and you're like, we're not blocking out. We are not ready to kick somebody's butt in this game by blocking out and really controlling the boards. Well, in the rule of sticky, all right, it is what I call talk about. These are things in the game that you talk about a lot with your players. And it's no different than being a parent and talking to your children. It's no different than really it's the human race. Okay, if all we do is talk about it, will anything get done? And I say no. When you talk about things as a coach, that creates a low factor of accountability and execution. Low. All right, now I'm going to liken it to a glue stick. This is about the rule of sticky, right? Okay, a glue stick, which doesn't give you much in the terms of being sticky. All right. So what does that mean for you as a coach? You can go ahead and talk about it all you want. You're going to get very little out of it, and you're going to be disappointed. Now, next, which is better, is to emphasize it. And you hear coaches talk a lot about, well, we really emphasize defense. Okay? And it may be one of your top 3, one of our earlier anchors. Your half-court defense might be one of your anchors. Or, one of your top 3. All right, and so you emphasize it. Now, emphasize goes a little further than talk about. You still talk about it, but maybe in film sessions, you spend time with maybe seeing the ball on the weak side and getting ready to rotate, let's say, for example. And you emphasize it in individual film sessions if you do those with players. It's a part of your scouting report and your walkthrough. And so, it's important to your program. It's important to your program because it's spoken of a lot. I mean, it's a term that you hear a lot. Hey, have vision on the weak side. Talk your help on the weak side. Get ready to rotate. But it's amazing when I hear coaches talk about, we really emphasize this. Hard blockouts, really hard blockouts. What we want to do is gain about 3 or 4 feet by being physical. And I turn on the TV or I go watch their game in a high school game, and I see nothing close to a rule of sticky about blocking out. What I see is guys turning around, all right, and maybe laying a body on the opponent, maybe not. So if that's all you get when you emphasize any part of the game, You're going to get medium accountability. Medium accountability and medium execution. And we both know medium loses. Average loses. The best team wins on any given night. Well, average isn't going to get it done. Okay? So that would be like a bottle of Elmer's glue, the white Elmer's glue, which is way better than a glue stick. But it's still not going to do it. It's not going to stand the test of time. So, what's the third level? Because that's the one I would like to see all of you get to, is to reach that third level. Well, it's what's called non-negotiable. I remember the first time I ever heard this term, and it was when Coach Dick Bennett was at Wisconsin. And he used to talk in terms of, this is a non-negotiable. Now think about the difference between non-negotiable and talking about a part of the game. Huge, huge separation between the two. So the non-negotiable parts of the game are established by the head coach and the coaching staff, relayed to the players. And I'll tell you why it becomes so effective here in a second. But anytime that you have non-negotiables in your program, now you can only have, it's the top 3, so you're probably going to have 3. You can say we're going to have 6 or 7, but I'm telling you, you cannot do a great job on 7 parts of the game. You just can't. You'll end up talking about it or emphasizing a couple of them. You take 3, and that's your bedrock. All right? You're going to take it into the game. You're going to go to war with those 3 things. If you do, you have the highest level of accountability and execution when you're dealing with non-negotiables. And that, to me, is super glue. Well, super glue's the best glue that you can possibly use if you're trying to address the rule of sticky. So, a non-negotiable, I'll give you an example here, since we're talking about blockouts. Our blockouts. This is one of my favorite stories of all time, and it said an absolute ton about the way we approached rebounding. This is during my time at Iowa State when we had great rebounding teams. We were in the top 10 in terms of defensive boards, and we better be. As hard as we worked at it, all right, we didn't talk about it, we didn't emphasize it. It was a non-negotiable. And I'll never forget it. We're playing Missouri in Hilton Coliseum, and the play is down at the other end. And it's in the second half. Missouri, in front of their bench, takes a shot. We block out, and one of our players gives a less than a desirable block out. And the ball comes off the rim. A ball he should have had if he had created that space and been really physical. He could have gone up and got that ball, but he didn't. And it became 2 guys jumping for the ball, and our player tipped it out of bounds. So, no block out. Should have been our ball. That possession could win the game. It doesn't. We tip it. It's Missouri's ball. And at the same time that the ref signaled that it was Missouri's ball, we're going to keep it here, the horn went off in Hilton Coliseum. And our player, 6'8", Iowa kid, just tough as nails, really good rebounder, would do anything you asked him. But, even the guys with the greatest intentions are going to miss out on some possessions in terms of blocking out. He hears the horn and he turns. He didn't look at the bench to see who was coming in, who's at the scorer's table. He didn't do any of that. He just turned and he ran as hard as he could to the bench. And there was an open seat next to me, and it was those kind of really thick cushioned chairs that you sit on. And I'm telling you, he took his open hand and he hit that chair so hard. It was like a bomb going off. And he sat down and he was so angry at himself. he was beside himself. And you'd have to know this kid because he was so critical of himself. He was a tremendous rebounder. And I turned to him to say whatever I was going to say in the moment. And he looked at me as if he was the teacher in elementary school and I was a student. He looked at me and said, "Don't say it." He knew exactly that block out cost us a possession. And he knew that when he heard the horn, it was for him. That's what we call a non-negotiable. He sprints, he's angry, he hits the chair, he sits next to me, and he let me know that he didn't need any instruction because he knew exactly what happened and exactly what I would say. And I thought that was really one of the most unbelievable moments in all of my years of teaching this game. And that just proved to me that rebounding was a non-negotiable. You can't come up with a better example, I don't think. Are you willing, first of all, my challenge in this to you, like we always do, coaching challenges, are you more, in your rule of sticky, are you more about talking a lot about something and expecting results? Remember, low accountability. Do you emphasize things in your program, expecting great results, and get mediocre execution, which you'll be very disappointed with? Well, the only thing that's left, if you really want to get things done and be the best every night out of the three things that you've chosen for your top three, in this case rebounding, then you have to make it a non-negotiable. If you're going to make it a non-negotiable, your players have to understand if they are not doing what you have taught them to do in terms of rebounding, in terms of the technique, in terms of the physicality, in terms of rebounding with two hands, in terms of rebounding on the weak side when a shot's taken away from you, all the things that we teach. Because when that ball goes up, we expect all of them to be done by all three players that are blocking out, or four possibly. Anything short of that, you have license to take that player out of the game. Why? Because it's a non-negotiable. You're not saying, hey, here's 52 parts of the game, okay? They're all non-negotiable. Okay, if you violate any one of them, you're coming out of the game. Come on. No, you're saying these three areas. That's why the top three fits in so good with the rule of sticky and being really, really good at those few small things. Are you willing to sub? Hey, the bench is a great tool. It's a great tool. And on the bench, you can talk to them about, and they already know, see? They already know. And sometimes you'll get, no, well, I blocked out. I blocked out. I blocked out. I said, well, we'll watch the tape tomorrow, but you didn't block out. That's why you're here sitting next to me and not in the game. All right? We're trying to help our chances to win, not hurt our chances to win. If you're really blocking out and moving guys around, you're staying in the game. So obviously it's something we saw in terms of a non-blockout. Case dismissed. Let's go. Get ready to get back in there and help your team. So the rule of sticky. You want to be poor, you want to be medium, or you want to be unbelievably good at one of your three parts of the game. Man, I love this topic. So this is number 9 in the foundational anchors, the rule of sticky. Now, we've got one more left, and we are going to get to that tomorrow. I will deliver to you Rule 10 in the rule of sticky. All right? And I look forward to that. And then we might even have an extra one to review all 10 because, boy, I'll tell you what, we spent a lot of time going through these. It's been awesome. Thanks for being with me on this ride with Simple Hoops. Thanks.